Hello and good evening. And once again, I'm your host, Sterling McKinley, and welcome to tonight's webinar and training. Once again, this is brought to you by the good folks at Grow with Google and also the U.S. Black Chambers. Now, tonight, I'm really excited. I want to get into it. We're talking about a topic right now that is so important. There's so many buzzwords, commercials, this and that. But tonight, we're talking about the metaverse. And tonight we're doing something kind of different. We're going to break down what is the metaverse, really define it. Because if you ask 10 different people, you will get 10 different definitions. So today we're going to level set. We're going to give you a firm understanding of what is the metaverse. We're going to cover metaverse technologies. And most importantly, we're going to talk about how do you use the metaverse to what? To help you grow your business. So once again, let's get started. Thank you for joining us tonight. We have about an hour and let's get ready to go. So tonight I have a guest. I have Mr. Howard Jean. He is the CEO and founder of the Black Meta Agency. So I'm going to shut up. I'm going to bring him on camera. And Howard, introduce yourself. And also, I'm sorry you added you have a co-host. I forgot her name, but you both take a minute. Tell us about yourself, what you do at the Black Meta Agency.
Cool. Well, good afternoon. We do bring you greetings from a Black Meta Agency. We're based here in Washington, D.C. We operate out of Brooklyn and also London. And our focus is workforce development, training, and job placement in Web3 and blockchain, as well as educating our community about the mass opportunities across the
Okay.
universe and the metaverse for us as business owners. Today,
Right.
I have my CTO and co-founder joining with me today. Her name is Fitsum, and she's actually a CEO of Fit Solutions Corp. And you see our logo and stuff here. So
Okay.
we're really excited to join you, Sterling. You do an amazing job of creating very rich and
Thank
substance-based
you.
content. So salute you.
Great. So thanks for that. So why did you start the Black Meta Agency? I know Facebook last year came with the name Meta, and that started this whole frenzy. But what drove you to start the Black Meta Agency?
Yeah, so it's funny. I've been trading and buying and investing in fintech for about maybe 6 or 7 years
Okay.
now. And this year, I had the opportunity to attend VCon, which is ran by Gary Vee.
Right.
Gary Vee is an entrepreneur, but he's a really big player in this
Mm-hmm.
space. So I went to VCon in Minnesota in May. I sat in the audience and I tweeted, I want to be a bridge builder between the U.S. Black Chamber and the BIPOC community, and
Okay.
also opportunities in Web3.
Right.
And that was May. I came back home a week later and hit the ground running.
Awesome.
So that's how I did it, man. I saw the opportunity. I saw the lack of
Right.
presence of my students and saw the opportunity.
Great. I love what you said, and we're gonna get started now because I know everybody wants to learn about metaverse, but I think that's the approach you need to have in business and in life. Don't wait for something to become the norm. Get on top of that while it's still new and fresh. Because I think right now, we'll talk about this later. There's so much opportunity in the metaverse, and tonight we're really going to uncover those ways that people can really learn more about it. We have a few people commenting here. Somebody says we have someone that says dope. Um,
Uh, yeah,
Appreciate that.
we have a clothing line too. So shameless plug. If you want to get some Black
Right.
Meta gear, we have hoodies, t-shirts, taking pre-orders because we believe in having an entire
Okay.
ecosystem we believe
Great.
in. So you get something too, also Sterling. And thank you for placing a pre-order in too. I appreciate that.
Not a problem. So let's get into tonight's presentation. Once again, this is brought to you by Grow with Google. And Grow with Google is all about digital skill training for minorities and Black owned companies. Because once again, we want to level set the playing field. And one way to do that is by having digital skills. I say this in every webinar, every training. If your business wants to be competitive in the future, you have to match your digital skills. And, I think naturally the metaverse falls under that digital skills.
Yeah.
That is a way that you can level the playing field. And I say this in every time I talk as well, is that the cost of entry into the metaverse, digital technology is very low. So you definitely want to tune in tonight. So once again, we're talking about the metaverse 101, beyond the hype. And there's so many buzzwords, terminology going around, but we're talking about really how you can use the metaverse to improve your business.
Yeah. So
So
real quick,
if you're ready to get started, do me a favor. Type in hashtag future. Once again, if you're
right?
ready to get started, I want you to type in hashtag future.
I like that. I like that.
So I do this because, in every webinar, I don't want to be one of those people that just talk at a screen for an hour. I want to have that interaction. So if you have any questions, any comments, anytime when we're talking, interrupt me and ask those questions. All you have to do is type those questions below in the box, and I'll be sure to stop and answer your question. So once again, if you're ready to get started, do me a favor. I want you to type in future. And I'll say tell you why I'm saying future, because that is the metaverse. The metaverse is the future, and it's something that you have to start investing in now, not waiting until it becomes the norm. So let's go ahead and get started. So
Yeah.
tonight's agenda is pretty simple. We have a few things. Oh, Vincent, I see you. Thank you. Vincent says, let's pull you up, Vincent. Vincent says, future. Thank you. Appreciate that. And thank you for joining us from LinkedIn. So tonight's agenda is pretty simple. First, we're going to find simply what is the metaverse. Once again, there's so much confusion around that. We're going to find that simply. Next, we're going to go over metaverse terminology. So we're going to talk about cryptocurrency, talk about blockchain, Bitcoin, virtual reality, augmented reality. What do those terms mean and how you can use them? And next, we're going to talk about the intersection between the metaverse and black business. I believe the metaverse can help close that digital divide. Why? Because it's a new way that we can connect with people, employees, employers, and also with customers for your business. And next, we're going to give you some use cases from the metaverse. What are ways now that you can begin integrating the metaverse into your business? Okay, so I'll let Howard take this one. So,
Yes, sir.
what is the metaverse? What is the
Yeah. So
metaverse?
what we created, man, we created a learning guide. So if you are at home, you can screenshot this. We'll be sharing a link to our good friend Sterling. And this is a quick study. We created this about maybe a month ago for the U.S. Black Chamber's Policy Breakfast
Yeah,
Summit.
yeah, how that's
Um,
pretty small. We can't see to details, but tell me in your opinion, what is the
Yeah,
metaverse?
yeah. So I was sharing it because I love to share learning. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like to talk. I like to share learning tools.
Right.
So if you follow us and just ask us for this sheet, we'll send you this quick sheet.
Okay.
So the metaverse, I want to start at a macro. So it's about Web3, and Web3 is one of the
Right.
facets within the metaverse. Metaverse is yeah. So yeah, metaverse, virtual reality, augmented reality, extended reality, and mixed reality. That is the Web3 world.
Right.
And the metaverse is a fully immersive experience
Mm-hmm.
into this space. And then augmented reality is literally taking your real life experiences and
Right.
also layering that with a technology or
Okay.
a an experience. And then lastly, the mixed reality is that camera, the backup camera in your car, and you see the yellow lines. That's mixed reality. So I like to very, very, very simple with how we define these terms so we move forward with right with the right definition.
Okay, thanks for that, Howard. So, my definition is very simple. Starting off, the metaverse is a virtual environment where you can work, play, shop, socialize just like in real life. So, what Howard talked about is some of the features of the metaverse. Simply, don't be confused, don't be afraid. The metaverse is just a virtual environment where you can shop, work, play just like you do in real life.
Right, right.
So I know we're just getting started, but so far I want to know how I'm doing. So for the people on the webinar, if I'm doing a good job, give me a 5. If I'm doing okay, give me a 0. So once again, I want some feedback. I want to get some feedback on how I'm doing. If this is stimulating, if you're learning something already, give me a 5. If this that's okay, give me a 0. You can give me a 5 too, Howard. So if you want to
Hey, yo, bro, you got a five,
get
bro.
a
You get 2 5s.
5, appreciate that. I got a 15. All right.
That's it. That's it. She didn't want to use 20 though.
I got 20. Great. Let's move on now. So, moving on, talking about metaverse terminology. Because once again, I think once we learn the meaning of things, it makes more sense to us, and then we're more likely to use it and understand it. So, we're gonna go through some of the key terms that are involved in the metaverse, and of course, Howard is going to assist me in trying to explain some of those. So, The first one is Web three. So basically, Web three is the evolution of the current web. Think about when web first started out. That was Web 1.0 in a sense. Where we're at now is Web 2.0. Social media, you can post things. Web 3.0 is that fully immersive experience that Howard was talking about. Howard, do you want to expand on that some more?
Sure. So, and thank you too for, defining the Web 2 and the Web 3. And again, like as Sterling, articulately said, Web 2 is just an evolution of Web 3. And the real interesting thing about this is that we already operate a lot of our lives in Web 3.
Exactly.
For instance, all of our photos are in the cloud. That's Web 3.
Right.
We use, Alexa and all these AI driven, artificial intelligence driven apps.
Right.
So the real question about the adoption and also us
Hmm.
understanding this is really saying, hey, where are we now in Web 3? And
Right.
I think once we start realizing that we're literally already operating, a lot of our lives in Web 3, then it'll be an easier conversation. This is not a new thing. It's just evolution of what we're already doing.
Right. Yeah, I love what you said. We're already doing it now, and when we talk about new technology, I think buzzwords get attached to everything, but we are already living in that world now. So, think about you mentioned the backup camera in your car. Think about your
Yeah.
GPS. That's Web 3.0. That's a sense of augmented reality right there. So we
And it's
already are
not better,
using
brother.
these things.
It's better.
We
And
already
even
using
the, I'm sorry, on the social media, like the filters, that's
right.
literally augmented reality.
Exactly.
Everybody, the mama, the daddy, an age app, right, Fitzum? Right. So essentially, we
Hmm.
want everyone to know that you're already playing Web 3.
Right.
Now, how can we make business opportunities and
Hmm.
careers in Web 3 after we understand the playfulness of it and leisure? Let's talk about the economic and the
Right.
business aspect of Web 3.
Right, exactly. You make a great point, and I think the one of the devices that changed the world and everything is the cell phone, especially during the pandemic. Like you said, you can do augmented reality, you can order food, social media, everything from your cell phone. So I believe we're in that stage now. So I'm an old guy, but I remember back before the iPhone came out, it was about 15 years ago, and there were flip phones, there was Razors, Motorola, all those phones were cool. And I remember when the iPhone came out, everything changed. Automatically, every other phone became obsolete. Why? Because the iPhone, it had apps, it had a camera, it had music, all those things. And I believe we're in that stage now. We're in that stage now where you want to be investing, you want to be educating, learning, finding ways that you can invest in the metaverse. Why? Because just like now with Samsung and some of the past leaders in mobile phones, you don't want to be sitting outside 5, 10 years from now saying, wow, I wish we invested, in the metaverse. I wish we looked into crypto and those sorts of things. So once again, I mean, the most important thing that I would say tonight is just get started learning these things. And I think one thing that stops a lot of people is just the fear of not knowing, and also the fear that it's complicated, and it's really not. Because like Howard said, you're already using many of these technologies now. Now is just use them in a way that can improve your business and improve your life.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. In the business aspect, we just left an amazing conversation
Hmm.
with Microsoft as it relates to their business efficiency.
Okay.
Google has efficiency tools. So the goal now is to say, how can we educate the business owners and begin to adopt
Right.
them into utilizing very small tools so that then they can graduate and start selling these tools, right? Kristen?
Hmm.
Correct. And then the one thing I would like to add in this is with Web 3, it is introducing ownership. With Web 1 and Web 2, we weren't owning our data,
Right.
but with Web 3, as a business owners, we do
Hmm.
own our information and data. So it's an interesting time to get into the Web 3 technology.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you hit it. That's another big part about the metaverse and Web three is that ownership. Because if you look at something out like Twitter, we're the content. They're taking your likeness, your image, and they're repurposing and make money off that. But we're in
Yeah.
this stage now where we're getting ownership of our data, we're getting ownership of our likeness, and then we can turn that into a profit. So I think that's where a lot of things with metaverse are different. Things are changing now. The sphere of marketing and business is being turned on its head now. Now it's the consumer. you have a lot of the power to steer these conversations, interactions.
That's right. That's right.
So
That's
getting
right.
back to the definitions, next one, let's talk more about NFTs, also known as
Oh,
non-fungible tokens. So quickly and summary, and Howard can expand on this, but they are unique tokens that cannot be replicated. NFTs can represent real world items. You see them like artwork and also real estate. So that's what an NFT is. Also, an NFT can be a utility as well. It can be a ticket, something like that. So Howard, expand about that more. What is an NFT and how can you use it in your business?
yeah. First of all, and thank you for this topic, man, because there's a lot of misconceptions and misunderstandings.
Exactly.
So let me kind of do a 20-second history lesson. The NFT started off as non-fungible token, and the idea initially was for this token to represent utilities and benefits. Initially, once people got into NFTs over the past couple of years, it became more of a novelty item
Right.
and a lot of clout, a lot of excitement around this concept of wow, I can sell something digitally. the the issue now we're running into is
Hmm.
now people say, well, what else do I get besides an image? And
Right.
that's called utility. So the easiest way to explain an NFT is to akin it to a American Express card. American
Okay.
Express has benefits, and only the members get those benefits.
Right.
For instance, Beyonce, Jay-Z went on tour, Amex, you get able to buy early on, right?
Right.
Same thing with an NFT, right? So that builds a community. So in an NFT, you have a digital image of whatever you're trying to create.
Okay.
But the most valuable aspects of that NFT is what do you get from it, and how is this different from the other
Hmm.
NFTs? So it's
Right.
all about benefits slash utility.
Hmm.
So as we begin to get into this marketplace, from creating businesses utilizing NFTs to sell as they tokenize their products and services,
Right.
right? So what Sterling said was amazing. He talked about the tokens. If you're a business owner, you want to understand NFT because now you take your products and you
Hmm.
tokenize it. So now
Right.
it's a straight exchange. And now the smart contract, which is an AI driven aspect of the blockchain, it operationalizes everything. So
Hmm.
now, as soon as the procurement says you're paid, you don't wait 2 or 3
Right.
weeks, you're paid immediately. And
Instantly.
as soon as you meet a customer, you can actually sell the token immediately and they can start getting the value from doing business. So it cuts down the
Right.
meetings and this and that and that. You
Hmm.
go straight from solution to opportunity to commerce, whatever the exchange is.
Right. Yeah. I love what you said. And I think, especially the last 2 years now, NFTs have been so big, but I believe it's been the kind of the commercial way, the Hollywood way, these ugly pictures that are worth millions of dollars. But in the day, what they're worth nothing. What are you collecting? But I like what you said about utility. I think the next step is connecting NFTs to real life things that make sense. Just not images that are replicated and you don't own. But like Gary Vee talked about, NFT is a ticket to a game. Now
That's
that
it.
makes a lot of sense. So now I have an item that says I went to the Super Bowl, I sat in this seat, and you know it. You know, so as even as a collector, collectors are about verifying something is real or true. So if I
Mhm.
have an NFT connected to, let's say, a jersey or to a ticket, you know that thing is real. You know that thing is one of a kind. So there's so many ways. So I think now, like you said, we have to find ways to make NFTs a utility. Make it serious because it really is. It's more than just an image of a monkey or ape. It really can be connected to your business.
And the great thing about that is that,
Yeah.
for instance, that jersey has an NFT,
Right.
but if that jersey appreciates the value, then you see that value in your phone.
Right.
Going back to VCon, the VCon ticket was an NFT.
Hmm.
So now that VCon ticket is now has appreciated at least $300
Right.
since then. So that is an amazing aspect that hey, if I want to buy 20 NFT tickets,
Right.
then I can be five and sell the other 15. Because
Hmm.
that's just it's like sneakers, yo. Like when people
Right.
start seeing that these digital assets are just
Hmm.
replications of physical assets in the real
Right.
world, then we'll really start to adopt this and get into it.
Yeah, and that too, from that standpoint, it's going to cut down on counterfeit items. So
Oh,
you buy that
point.
Gucci
Great.
bag now, we gonna know if it's real or not. What's the
If that Gucci
NFT?
bag got no NFT on it and it's fake, it's cap. All
Those
cap.
those those new shoes or cars, whatever, is it authentic?
That's
So it's gonna cut even in,
right.
grocery store products. If you will buy some liquor or whatever, if this the real thing, you would see that everything will be trackable in a sense.
I like
So
that.
NFTs, there's so many ways it can be applied. I think now, like I said, we're in this stage. Just think about ways you can use NFTs because whatever you do, there's a way to do it.
Totally, totally.
So moving on to our next one, we're talking about blockchain. Okay, so blockchain is a digitally shared, decentralized ledger. And decentralized means, I'll define that really quickly. So think about now, Bank of America has your information now. And if you make a purchase, let's say anywhere, it takes a long time for all it to happen, but being decentralized means it's shared across the network. That makes it more secure. So it keeps a track of all transactions, and also it lists these records that are in blocks and are linked together. And once again, it cannot be altered. So you hear that term a lot, blockchain. Howard, explain that more for the audience.
Yeah. So the blockchain again, we use real definitions. So the blockchain is an innovative method for data storage.
Right.
And the easiest way that I love to describe the blockchain is the walls of the pyramid, right? So when you think of the pyramid, the hieroglyphics and things that are etched in the pyramid is there forever
Right.
and ever. And that's just like the blockchain. The blockchain, once you place something within the blockchain infrastructure, it's there forever.
Right.
And this is just an evolution or repeating of what we did in Africa. And this is called Afrofuturism. So when you think of blockchain, think of how you can place something somewhere, go back to it 100,
Okay,
200,
I gotta stop you
300
real
years
quick.
ago.
I gotta stop you quick. So
Jump in, jump in.
I
Go.
had this question. So that's why you have the pyramid logos for Black Meta. Is that the
Yeah,
reason
so yeah,
why? Okay.
exactly. So this is the pyramids of Giza.
Okay.
And when it comes to the pyramids of Giza, there's history. Oh, it's a group of them. But however, these things were built to stand the test of time and to leave something for the future. And that is what we're doing with Black Meta Agency. Our goal is to build something that's going
Right.
to outlast us and create bridges for our community to have ownership and pathways into. There we go. Throw it up, Sterling. Throw it up. Throw it up, Sterling.
It's
Throw it
it's the
up.
new it's the new rock. Okay, I got
It's a
you.
new. Hey, talk about it. Talk about it, man.
All right.
Everlasting rock.
Right.
Black
Okay.
metal. Yeah, let me write that down. Everlasting rock. There we go. Everlasting rock. She write that
Right.
too.
So Vincent said it's a inimitable ledger. Yeah, exactly. And it can't be altered. It's gonna cut down on fraud. And once again, like Howard said, it's forever. It can't be altered. It's there. So that's blockchain, and you hear that term a lot when we're talking about the metaverse and also crypto. And
And
our
I also want to
next,
add two more pieces to that. One thing on the
yeah,
blockchain that is transparent. So you can
exactly,
see it, and I'm a customer and you're a vendor. You can see it and I can see it. But also within the blockchain, I want to go back to the smart contract. That's going to cut down on staffing, cut
right,
down on resources that we typically don't have as a small business or even
okay,
some businesses. So now you can operationalize a lot of that quote unquote human effort
right.
into a smart contract and keep everybody righteous and keep everybody fair.
I see how this is why I like you. You made it real. So let's give you a round of applause for that.
Well, man, I appreciate it, man.
I
Turn up,
appreciate
man. Black
that.
Mirror, man. We real. We outside.
Exactly, and I mean, you just hit on the head. I mean,
Thank you.
whatever you think is possible, this technology can be used in so many ways. So smart contracts, NFTs, there's so many ways. It's really the only limit is you thinking about how you can leverage this technology. So I love what you said about that. So getting back, moving on to the next one is crypto. So you hear cryptocurrency, crypto a lot. So basically, cryptocurrency is a virtual currency designed to act as money or form of payment. The most popular one you hear about all the time is Bitcoin. And once again, it's a virtual currency that you use to pay for things, both digitally and some companies take it as a form of payment. So, Howard, give me your definition of cryptocurrency.
Oh yeah. So cryptocurrency, again, you base it from a fiat, and a fiat is whatever your country's currency is.
Hmm.
United States is the dollar. China is the yen, and so
Right.
on and so on. So essentially, that's the first basis of what crypto is. So you have to get a fiat, which is your regular currency,
Okay.
and then you have to transfer that, or you transfer that into a digital asset, which
Right.
can be a token, which can be a coin, or whatever way you want to phrase that. Once you
Right.
have that token, now you have different marketplaces where different tokens are accepted,
Hmm.
right? Like the Dow Jones, like the
Right.
and New York Stock Exchange, et cetera. Those are different marketplaces, and this stock is managed differently over here, and vice versa, right? So at the end of the day, this whole cryptocurrency is another financial marketplace, an opportunity for people to create revenue, but also just create assets that can track participation and attendance. Which
Right.
I would love for Kristen to talk about a POAP, which is in that space of the cryptocurrency space.
Correct. So, PoApp is a platform which may tie more into the NFT and then the events and then the tracking that we're talking about. So, for instance, you have this webinar, right?
Right.
And if it was in PoApp, right, for every event that I attended, I'll get a token, right?
Right.
So that token eventually will help me if you have a live or in-person events that will go towards that, and then it will unlock certain opportunities or certain rooms
Okay.
for me as well. That's a different way of cryptocurrency, but it's not like money transaction, but
Right.
it's just more of an opportunity or from
Okay.
leveraging events that NFT or
Right.
token.
And it's
Okay.
called proof of attendance. So POAP,
Right.
proof of attendance. So, like for you, Sterling, man, you do these webinars all the time, and for
Hmm.
those lucky people that collect 10 webinars out of the
Right.
next 2 months, you have a special gift for them, and now you can invite them into special aspects of what you do. So it's about building community, but it's not. It's about us not leaving anything on the table, and that's
Right.
what I like about this is that now you can find ways to find value and also find functionality out of things we never could before.
Okay. Thanks for that. So we have about a half hour left, so we can pick things up a little bit. A lot of conversation, good conversation, but let's keep things moving. So
Yes,
I'm
sir.
moving to our next one, augmented reality. So what it is basically, it augments your real world by adding digital elements to your view. So once again, if you hold up your cell phone and you were to see directions, if you were to see the temperature or things like that, that's augmented reality. That's all it is. So once again, Howard, no, you gave the example of your backup camera. That's all it is. So once again, augmented reality has been around for so many years. So
Yeah.
many years we already been using that, and just now is being coined, with this term and this phrase. And with also with that too is we talk a lot about virtual reality, and people confuse it too. Augmented is you're adding to the real world. Virtual is completely simulated. So let's say you put on a headset and you go into a virtual world. That is virtual reality. So you're allowing the user or the consumer to move and see if they're a part of a 3D world. So once again, virtual is completely simulated. Augmented is just adding elements to that. So those are two key distinctions when we're thinking about reality. There's augmented and also there's virtual.
That's right.
So I've been talking a lot. Got about a half hour to go. So how am I doing? If this is helpful, type 5 in the comments. If this is so-so, if you're getting tired of Howard, type in 0. So if you're liking this, type in 5. If Howard's talking too much, type in 0. Let's see what we get. And once
This
again,
is a lot of
it's all about feedback. It's all about feedback. Making sure that that we are giving you what you need. So once again, any questions, any comments about the metaverse, about marketing, anything, type those in the chat box below. We'll be sure to stop and also answer your question. All right, now the good part, the metaverse and black business. So we're talking about how those two could come together. And I said it before, I believe this digital divide that we're in right now, that the metaverse is kind of the next evolution. How we can use the technology not only to better our companies, but better our lives in every area. So just like the last big wave of the internet, I think black business kind of missed out on that. I mean, there's still companies that don't have websites that are up to par, or not doing digital marketing. So this next phase, we cannot afford to be, spectators in the sideline. We have to be invested now in this technology. Once again, not to be shut out, because there's so many opportunities right now to be creators in this new technology. And everybody now has a computer. You have a smartphone. You have the devices to do this stuff. So we're really gonna talk about that, ways that black-owned companies can really leverage the metaverse. Howard, you want to add anything to that?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, again, we happen to be black owned, and we're utilizing Web3, blockchain, and the metaverse in a few ways. The first way for us, when it comes to virtual reality, we're using it as a training tool. So we partner with a company called Next Wave Safety, based in New
Okay.
York, near Wall Street, and essentially you're able to do your skills-based training when it comes to
Hmm.
construction, fire safety, and any other type of development projects based
Right.
within their app that they develop. So that's one way. So
Okay.
we, as a company, we are partnering with them to share this as a way for businesses to multiply their
Right.
training staff and
Hmm.
extend their workforce. And again, many ways that we're doing this, we're doing outreach events with high schools and with businesses, and obviously at the U.S. Black Chamber at their
Hmm.
conferences. So those are the ways that we're doing this, is like educating. And really quickly, I want you to talk about this, Sterling, because you're doing a wonderful job of
Hmm.
transitioning and pivoting
Right.
to leverage new technology. And we
Hmm.
talked about this briefly. So I would like to spend a second, because I know a lot of people here listening, and I'm on Instagram Live, and they may want to know, I'm in this space,
Right.
that's not really technology centered. How do I pivot? How do I transition? Or
Right.
how do I extend what I'm able to do with this space? So I'd love you to add that question. I know Fitcham has some responses to that as well.
Yeah. I think what you said earlier about starting the Black Meta Agency, having that same mindset to everything. Because if we go back, I don't know how long ago, but there was somebody that said, the phone. Why do I want a phone? Why I can walk down the street and I can talk to my cousin. Why do I need a fax? There's always somebody that said, why do I need something? And always resistant. And my favorite, story is the story of Blockbuster Netflix. Netflix said, "Oh, this internet thing is crazy. Why would somebody download a movie or stream it when I could go to a store and get it?" They missed it. So I think as a business, as a person, you always have to be looking forward to the next thing, not just saying like, "Oh, this is the new thing. This is the fad. Something the kids do." No, that's the wrong attitude. You need to serve it, and see how you can, add that to what you're doing. And I would say also too with the metaverse and any technology, there's always a urge to totally what's the word disregard what you are doing that works. I say don't do that. Add this to what you're doing now. Find new ways to add this. So let's say you have a certain customer base that's older. Don't discard the customer base. Find ways to keep that customer base, and find ways to add on that. So, I think with new technology, there's always the urge to discard what you've been doing, start over again. No, it's all about innovating. It's all about keeping things up to date.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So Fitcham, can you tell us how you're using different products to start to transition your company into this space?
Sure. For me, I guess
Hmm.
what I would say is, as a technologist, the biggest thing that we need to do collectively
Right.
is to close the gap. Is a to start where you are at,
Hmm.
like that learning phase come to
Got it.
play, and then you might think, oh, metaverse might not be my solution, but
Right.
even if you might not be a solution for you, are you ready for Web3? Do you have a website?
Right.
Do you have a mobile application?
Hmm.
And then are those powered by AI? It doesn't
Right.
have to be everything in the metaverse, but you can have a certain aspect of AI, machine learning, that would help
Yeah.
you to speed up your sales process or to
Right.
close more deals. Right? So, like, leveraging those technologies will keep you to be closer.
Hmm.
Uh, Personal story on how I got to Metaverse is a simple conversation that I had with Howard.
Hmm.
And then he shared with me Black and Brown peoples are 8 to 9 years behind when it comes to technology, policy, decision making, all those stuff.
Right.
So that makes me to get into the Metaverse or the blockchain technology.
Hmm.
So it's just like all needs to like move in
I
together,
like that.
but
Yeah, I
at the
like that.
same time, it's just like our what we preach is we'll meet you where you are at, and then we'll
Right.
help you to transition to the next stage. So it starts with you
Yeah.
accepting that you
Hmm.
need it, and then it could even be like a simple one-page website that will get you to the next
Right.
phase.
Yeah, I
Cool.
love what you said, and that's it's sad. 8 to 10 years. I mean, we're a decade behind, and I know there's a digital divide, but I've never heard it in that way before. But it's true.
Yeah.
And I love what you said about starting where you're at. And personal story, what, 3 years ago, the pandemic hit and video became the thing. People at home doing Zoom, doing podcasts, and I didn't have anything. I had my fuzzy webcam, but guess what? I had no idea what I was doing, but I watched videos on YouTube. I talked to people that were already in the field, and I found out what camera to buy. I found out what light to buy. I found out what mic to buy. And even now, I'm able to do this whole show myself because I learned the technology. Why? Because I saw the change coming. So I think that's something that we all have to do in business is find ways to update. And the last thing I'll say is when it comes to business, it's not even really about you. It's about your customers.
I
Customers
love
are
it. Say it again.
gravitating
Say it
to
again. Say that again.
customers are gravitating to companies that are digital savvy. And I think about our cell phones. So think about Uber. You think about Amazon, Netflix, all these companies. So once again, customers want to deal with those companies. So even like now, if I go to a carnival and there's a food truck and they say no credit card, I'm like, Are you serious? Like, what? No credit card? If you're a company, and I know many of you can't even send me a digital invoice, that's a bad thing. So it's about making business, making it easier for your customers to do business with you. And I believe a lot of companies that are winning right now are easy to do business with. Why? Because they're digital savvy and they're staying up with their customers. Not so much technology, but with their customers, making sure that their customers are being served. So let's get back to presentation. So once again, I believe the metaverse has the power to level the playing field. It really does. I think technology has always had that power. Going back to the internet, even right now, my setup now, for a few $1,000s, I have a broadcast that can go toe to toe with any podcast. Because of technology, that's what it can do. It can level the playing field. So yes, you're a small business. You're not, McDonald's. You're not Amazon. You're not Nike, one of these big brands. But with the metaverse technology, you can build the same experience for your customers. So
I,
it's gonna
that's a
level. It's gonna level the playing field. So Howard, we don't have long, but talk some about that.
No, I mean, it's so funny, Sterling. I was thinking that the other day is that, you know, I literally started a global agency using my cell phone. I think
Right.
90% of everything I've done with this agency has been through my cell phone.
Right.
And it's about using all the assets and squeezing as much out of it to get the most value out
Yeah.
of it. But one thing, the differentiator is not just the tools. I mean, everybody has the same laptops, same phones. It's that
Right.
work ethic.
Yeah.
It's the drive, the
Right.
determination. Everyone has a laptop, everyone has a social media, but who's going to be able to find the most value out of it to create value for others?
Right.
So that's what's going to be the differentiator, and that's
Right.
what's going to be the methodology, if you will, for
Hmm.
those who are looking to pivot and transition into this space.
Right. 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 I agree. This is off topic, but you said you have an office in London. I want to hear about that, and when can I visit?
Yeah, man. So here's the story. So we started doing business with our NFT artist,
Right.
and really quickly, we had an NFT artist.
Hmm.
So she creates art, but she actually has a fashion line,
Okay.
a home decor line, and also a social justice nonprofit,
Right.
as well as physical artwork.
Okay.
So essentially, she was based in London, and we started doing business there through her. And we realized that there's a huge need in London because London is the back door to West Africa, right? When it
Okay.
comes to our professionals, when it comes to the economics of those that leave West Africa to go to London and cut their teeth and make their bones, realize that we have an asset of understanding
Right.
the American marketplace. And so
Okay.
there we established an office there. We have an intern there actually. He's in there for the next 6 months. He
Okay.
was here in the state and took an internship there, and so he's doing some exploration. And he's building alliances
Right.
there. So it's very easy to go global
Right.
because we have all the tools, all the
Right.
tools.
Right.
Yeah.
Great.
And yeah, you can visit, man, because I know you love beautiful suits. So meet me on Savile Row, as they say, and get some bespoke, custom wear.
Right. So to summarize what it can do. One, I believe it can increase visibility. So once again, like Howard said, now from your phone, the world has got so much smaller now. With technology, you can attend a conference anywhere. So your customer can be across the world, across the country. Now they can see you, they can interact with your products and your services. I think the next one is improve customer engagement. Once again, it's
Hmm.
all about customer experience. You know, the big thing now is Zoom video calls, but imagine if you could invite your customer into a 3D virtual environment where they could see your business, where they could see you. Think about how powerful that would be. Next, it's going to lower costs. Like we said, because you don't have to travel. You don't have to pay for certain things. You can create digital assets. And once again, greater flexibility. So now we can really create experiences that are different, easy, based on, your demographic. Okay, this is the older person. This is a younger person. This person can do this or that. Let's change this experience to really match what they're doing. So I think for black business, there's so many, ways that the metaverse is going to benefit them. And these are some of the few. And how you want to add to that?
Yeah, man, a lot of these corporations like Google and all the big five, they're
Right.
actually trying to create inroads into the
Right.
BIPOC community. And I'll say this again: if you're in PR, you can help create a messaging campaign for Web3 and blockchain. I mean,
Right.
there's so many ways for you to find value in this space.
Hmm.
It's all about you putting the effort in and really thinking about it, but knowing that we're in a climate to where corporations are just seeking
Right.
innovative ideas on how to approach us and how to work with us.
Hmm.
So again, don't limit yourself, and also you can create another McDonald's food chain, right? So there's like 20 McDonald's, and there's also 1,000 small mom and pop burger stations, and they're still surviving. So if you see a cool idea, you say, "Hey, I want to do it like that with my spin on it." Go
Hmm.
do it because you're going to be able to identify with an audience that they can't,
Right.
and that's money on the table. So do not leave any money on the table because
Hmm.
we're in a time now where you can literally create anything from your phone if you got enough effort, enough
Right.
information, and enough drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to metaverse use cases, and we talked about a lot of those now. But whether it's marketing, advertising, training, education, collaborating, networking, once again, these are all things that can happen in the metaverse. I know. Howard, you were saying one of the big parts of Black Meta is workforce development and training. So talk more about that. How, from once again, from a business standpoint, from a black business, you can use the metaverse to help with marketing or training or education.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, we partner with a couple of cool organizations. One is Skillsoft and the National Education Foundation, and we're able to provide a solution to where you can train
Hmm.
you and also place you in a job within our ecosystem. So we have a software solution with
Right.
10,000 courses,
Hmm.
and we have an amazing price point. But the great piece of that is that you can train, and then we will actually identify a job for you. So when you
Right.
finish training, you get transitioned seamlessly into this job place. So
Right.
we're creating a pipeline into the metaverse. We also have some cool solutions, and she may talk about at a high level in the areas that we're looking at solutioning. Um, so I know Fitzman, she runs our CTO, she's CTO of our company. So you want to share a little
Well,
bit
can,
about that?
you talk more about for a business how they can use it
Okay.
to leverage
Yeah, so
some
we're kind
training
of, for
and
instance, I do a couple of use cases, right? So if you're
right.
in hospitality right now, Hilton has an amazing program to where they're
Hmm.
training their staff with VR. So
Okay.
you don't have to come into the office. You can stay at home and train using VR. And
Hmm.
they standardize everything, right? Nationwide,
Right.
globally, right? And now you can protect the integrity of your methodology in training
Right.
because you're replicating the same exact experience
Mm,
within meta and virtual.
like that.
The issue with trainers, and you know this, Sterling, is that one trainer is good, but to find
Right.
two or three is
Right.
more. And as you
Right.
scale up, you disintegrate or you water down the quality. So
Right.
that's one thing of the meta or Web3. Another opportunity, for instance, if you're a network developer and you're used to working with a physical technology stack,
Right.
you don't have to have a degree anymore. If you can dial in, you know how you can dial into your laptop and someone
Right.
moves your screen and fix it? Same thing. You put on the headset and you can really dial into someone's workspace and say, hey, show me your technology stack. Pull this
Right.
cord out. You can have some MR showing you which cord to locate, highlights it. So now you don't need someone with a high level degree. to fix your network stack or your infrastructure. You
Right.
really can use it's called mixed reality, right? Do that. So I
Right.
mean, there's so many amazing ways, even from a cigar lounge, right? So if you're a
Right.
cigar owner and you hold a cigar company or whatever, you can actually create a metaverse lounge and say, hey, in order to get access to a lounge, you have to buy this box of cigars. Once you get there, you get to network with people and et cetera. And now you're in this headset smoking cigars,
Right.
talking, oh yeah, I love this flavor. Where are you from? Tanzania. Oh yeah, I'm from the United States. It's that simple. It's that simple. So I mean,
Somebody
so
told
many
me
things.
that there was no smoking in the metaverse. Is that true?
Say it again, sir.
There's no smoking in the metaverse. Is that true?
I
I'm
like
just
that. I like
saying.
that.
I didn't know. Okay. Well. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. So, getting back to presentation, moving on. We're at the end now. So let's recap level set things. So, Howard, take a minute, 2 minutes, and recap. Why the metaverse is so important, and once again, the urgency of black owned companies and businesses to really use this technology.
Yeah.
Bring it all together.
Yeah, so I want to start back in Egypt. I want to go back to who we are. We came through STEM and science and technology and mathematics and art. So STEAM was always a part of who we are. And over time, we lost our connection to Earth and to science. Now this is a revolution. They're saying that hey, the universe and the conspiring parties say, hey, this is an opportunity for you to use your creativity, and
Right.
instead of being content creators, be content owners. So
Right.
to me, this is almost like economic social justice
Mm.
because there's no time in history that we've seen besides, like you said, the internet, where you have opportunity to own something
Right.
forever
Right.
and ever. So this is a wealth creation. This is a business functionality developer, and also this is a lifelong plan to create more brown young people
Right.
utilizing this technology
Mm.
for live, work, and play.
Right.
So the last point I'll leave off is leave
Mm.
your ego at the door when you're learning. And
Hmm.
I think the issue with most people coming into this technology space, especially this hyper tech space, is that their ego is that I don't want to not know anything.
Right.
The point of learning is to not know.
Hmm.
So it's all about dropping your ego and saying, hey, I don't have to be the smartest, but let me start where I am. And don't forget, your background is an amazing asset.
Right.
Whatever your professional background was before you thought about the metaverse, don't throw it away. The goal is how can you find value right in this next space. So, that's my only word is that, hey, you
Right.
are valuable where you are. Leave your confidence and ego at the door and come in as a student.
Right.
And then when you get to the drawing table, ask yourself, how can I use what I already know with this very new, innovative aspect
Right.
and create something that can create wealth, a better quality of life, and
Hmm.
some really cool experiences.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for that. Yeah. I think Howard said a lot of things that I really hit the point. But this technology is it's going to change the world, right? Forever. And we've seen some of the things already that the cell phone is done, the internet is done, but this is the next wave. So it's going to change everything. But one thing I want to stress: this is the time when, like Howard said, you have to be like a child. You don't know. We don't. I don't even know. I'm still learning. That's okay. But this is a time where you need to be learning, experimenting, making mistakes, because this thing is still an infant. The metaverse is continuing to grow. It might take another 5, 10 years before it's fully there. Who knows? But this is the time. So don't wait until it's like I said, it's a common thing. Now is the time to start experimenting, start finding ways to use technology, and also too to add on to what Howard said, anything that you do in real life, you can do in the metaverse. So if you're a doctor, I don't care if you're a lawyer, if you're an engineer, if you're a speaker, whatever you do has a place in the metaverse. So I think it's finding ways to take what you're doing in the real world or what you've always done, and now joining that with the metaverse. I think that is an opportunity where you can see a lot of growth. So I think once again, to summarize, just don't be scared. It's a new technology.
Don't be
It's
scared.
different.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
But don't be scared just to learn, because we're all learning. And anybody that tells you they have it all together, especially because of the metaverse, they're not telling you the truth, because the thing is constantly evolving and growing. So, Howard, I want to thank you today for being here. Forgive me, I keep getting your
Fitz,
So,
Fissel. I'm sorry. Yes, thank you both for being here today and joining me for this conversation. It's something that I've been getting emails, texts about. Hey, what about the metaverse? It's not technically under Google's digital platform, but you know what? It is. They don't know all the way, but it is, and we have to
like
have
that. It's
start
like that.
having these conversations now because it's all intertwined. So online marketing and advertising and websites, it's all into this. So it's another form of marketing in general. So, but once again, thank you for being here so much. If you can tell everybody what is the best way to contact you if they want to learn more about the Black Meta Agency.
Yeah, so if you want to learn about the Black Meta Agency, simply go to our site, bmaweb3.com. It's bmaweb3.com. And across all the socials, we BMA Web3. And Fit Solutions, you want to share about your company, your services, and how to contact you?
Sure. So our specialty is cloud technologies.
Okay.
Anything to do is Microsoft technologies, Azure, Dynamics 365, custom mobile app development. We can be found at fitsolutionscorp.com, and our social media is also at
Okay.
fitsolutions.
Yes.
Great. All right.
Yeah,
So I'm
thank
gonna
you
close
for
out
bringing
now. But once again, thanks for being here
Yeah,
tonight, and we'll find some other way to do this again pretty soon. So thank you again.
thank you,
Yep.
man.
Thank
And I
you.
enjoy it. So you doing
All right. Well, I'm going to give you all a few resources to learn more about Google's products, tools, and services, and also about their training. So let's do that really quick. So, once again, if you want more information about any of Google's products and services, the best way to do that is to go online to find more trainings about digital marketing, more trainings about video and about email, all those things. Is to go to google.com/grow. Once again, google.com/grow. Also, if you want more trainings about anything, we're talking about finance, access to capital, digital marketing, sales, anything, the U.S. Black Chambers has a wealth of information. They have so many webinars and trainings that you can be part of. Simply visit usblackchambers.org to find more information. Also, if you came in late, if we spoke too fast, all these webinars are on demand. They're all being recorded right now. Visit our YouTube channel, Facebook, or LinkedIn to view more information and also to view past trainings and webinars to find out more about Google's products, tools, and services. So once again, I'm Sterling McKinley. Have any questions? Here's my LinkedIn. Pretty much just Google Sterling McKinley. You'll find me across any platform and send me your questions, your comments, and I'll be sure to respond to you. So once again, I want to thank you for your time. Once again, I want to thank Howard again and the Black Bat Agency for being here tonight, talking more about the metaverse because we need to know about this. So we'll be getting together again shortly to talk more about the metaverse. And also, I will see you right here next Thursday at 5 p.m. Once again, talking more about how you can use Grow with Google, Google's tools and services to not only improve your life, but also improve your business. Take care. Good night.